Even the gym check-in system powered by n8n that completely automates the member validation through a sleek mobile progressive web app. Okay. So gym members instantly scan a dynamic QR code generated for them at the entrance of the gym. And once they completed the scanning, it will automatically triggers the backend and do the member validation whether the user was simply subscribed to the gym or not, and then it will grant the access to the gym. And this particular workflow was built for scale, so we can easily extend this exact setup to trigger physical turnstile hardware via simple webhook connection to an IoT relay like ESP32 or Raspberry Pi. So firstly, let me show you the demo, and after that, I will explain you how the data flow from node to node from beginning to end. So let us test the system live. So this will be the user's phone, and this is the fronted as QR code, which we have to be scanning this particular QR code to check whether we have the entry or not. So let me just scan the QR code right now. Okay, perfect. The entry was granted. And let us check in the execution tab. Just wait for a second. It has to be refreshed. Yeah. This was the recent execution. Just have a look. The execution was successful, and automatically, just after one particular QR code was got scanned, we simply generate another QR code. Okay. So no two QR codes will be, identical. So each QR code is unique. And I simply created this particular node to generate QR code right here. So yeah, let me just explain you how the data will flow from node to node. But before moving forward, there are a few prerequisites to make the system run rock solid. Not only the n8n workflow, even the progressive web app I'm talking to. Okay. So technically, firstly, you need to have a Supabase account, and you know because the Supabase authentication was used in the progressive web app for creating a new gym members. Okay. And after that, you need to have these two Google Sheets. So just make a note of these sheet headers so that you can simply replicate the Google Sheet in your own system and connect it back to the n8n workflows and all. Okay. So and another thing is you need to create a database webhook in your Supabase and connect it to the first sub workflow in our workflow. So just have a look. I simply connected it. And this particular thing exactly do is whenever a new insert operation was done in our users, which was nothing but our users table, it will simply post the user details back to the webhook. So we will be saving those, user ID and the name, and by default the subscribed field will be make false, so nothing serious. So by using those Supabase new user details, we will be saving it to the gym subscription sheet. Okay, and after that, to make the system run, I mean, to make the progressive web app actually run, to dynamically generate, to dynamically generate these particular QR codes, we need to have a community node called n8n nodes barcode slash scanner, and this is non-negotiable because this is completely free. There is no need for you to use any API key or something, and the whole data will be stay inside your n8n instance also. So you need to have this particular node out there. So let me just continue, come to the explanation part. So first of all, the front desk QR code will be generated with this particular workflow right here. Okay. And each QR code will be unique because, you know, with the webhook, it also included a unique event entry ID. Okay. It simply included a unique entry ID each second. Just have a look. Each second, the entry ID, each millisecond, the entry ID will be changed. So this is how we know two QR codes will be identical. And because of this, there is no brute force attacking of those, you know, QR codes to simply blank the system out there. So yeah, after that, whenever a particular user simply scans this particular unique QR code with the user phone, I mean user progressive web app, So this particular workflow will get triggered. And by the way, all the webhook nodes right here you're seeing was successfully, secured with header authentication. Okay, so nothing serious and security was so no unauthenticated. I mean, request will be encouraged by any of this sub workflow and the main workflow. So no worries apart from that. So whenever a just have a second. I will simply explain you with the live execution part, okay? So whenever the user simply scans this particular unique ID, it will also send back the user ID of that particular user and the entry ID also. Entry ID was nothing but the unique ID of that particular QR code, okay? So these two will be, I mean, sent back to the workflow, and we will check whether the entry ID was actually is there or not. If there is no entry ID, we will simply don't return anything. We will simply stop the workflow right here. Okay. And after that, we will check whether there is already this particular entry ID was in our entry logs. Okay. Just have a look. Just the we will be saving the entry ID also. I will explain you later how we will simply saving the entry IDs. Okay. So we only move forward when there is just have a look when there is no entry ID. This is the logic. JSON.entry ID is empty. We will only move forward when the entry ID was not already saved in the entry log, which really means that particular QR code was scanning for the first time. Okay. So after that, we will be simply grab the user ID from the webhook. Okay, and we will be get that particular gym subscription of that particular user ID, which was nothing but this by querying this by simply filtering with the user ID, so that only that particular user ID's subscription details will be returned. No other details will be returned back, so the data is secure. And by the way, the Supabase will also be having row level security, so nothing serious. And we will be running a simple validation logic, which will simply checks whether the user actually exists or not, and the user have the active subscription or not, and the user will, I mean, whether the user simply can enter the gate or not. Okay, so code node will simply run the validation logic, and it will simply save it as a log. So whatever the whatever the system and whatever the entry status and whatever the user is, it will simply log every single entry right to this particular Google Sheet. Okay. So after that, we will be checking whether the user exists or not. Sometimes some people can also some bad actors can also be doing some unauthenticated unauthenticated requests, even though we have a tight security out there. But there are some you know compromising scenarios, right? So we will be check whether the user was actually exist or not. And after that, we will be if the user was simply not found, it will simply return this particular message to back to the user exactly in the front desk. Okay, and the message will be there in the front desk for 6 seconds, and automatically after 6 seconds, the message will be removed over there, and the QR code will be automatically refreshed. Okay, but if in case the user was already there in our system, then we will be check for whether the user was can enter the gym or not. Okay, by simply fetching the entry status right here. I mean entry status not. I mean the allowed entry thing. So if the user simply have the access, then it will simply return entry granted. Have a wonderful day or something like that. And if the entry was not granted, it will simply return you don't have a valid subscription. So please go renew at reception. So this is how the main workflow will actually work too. And we also have an XAS based, progressive web app right here. So I will be open sourcing that particular, code base too. So nothing to worry. So this is how the whole system will work in the backend. And that's it for today.